All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're calling from. We have Emmanuel and Ioan here from Zondax, who's going to do a workshop on get started with Filecoin Solidity Library and Beryx Explorer. If you have any questions, feel free to send them into the Zoom chat, and our speakers will be more than happy to answer them. And with that being said, I will pass the mic off to our two speakers.
Okay, I will start and I will manage the presentation, the slides. So first of all, thank you all for being here, and we are Emmanuel Ioan from Zondax. I will share my screen so we can start with the presentation. Slideshow, and I think you're looking at my screen, so everything should be ready to start. So I want to introduce us as a company first, because I mean, we are a bunch of people that we are distributed around the world. I mean, this is part of the team that we had a meeting in place some time ago. We're a company that we work like with different. I mean, we work with in the blockchain ecosystem from the last 4 or 5 years. We're actually working in the pretty innovative tech solutions for the blockchain system, and we have been working. We have been a partner. We have a partner with Filecoin for the last 3 or 4 years. A really close partnership. So we have been like a lot of tools for the Filecoin ecosystem. And today we are going to talk about 2 or 3 of them that are really, really specific for this hackathon. And I want to go straight forward to them. I mean, we have three tools to talk about them today, and they're like 2 groups, and they're divided in 2 groups. One of them is a Solidity set of Solidity libraries that we will see that what they are for in the next slides. But they're really specific or related with your smart contracts and your code, the way that you can draw with Filecoin from your smart contract. And the other one is a product called Beryx that it will allow you to see the historical data on the blockchain. So anything you do, or even interact with an API. So anything you do with your smart contracts or accounts, anything that's happening behind the scenes in the Filecoin blockchain, you will be able to see and interact with them from this specific product. I'm going to talk about the Solidity Libraries, and Ioan is going to talk about the Beryx in the product. So I will start with the Solidity Libraries. I think they're really, I mean, this tool is really, really specific for developers, and what they are. I mean, there is a set of libraries, of Solidity libraries. What I meant with that is function and types that will allow you to interact with Filecoin, with the Filecoin features from the Solidity smart contracts that you're writing. If you don't have these libraries, you would need to do everything by your own, understanding how to call the file connectors, the Filecoin functionality from your Solidity smart contract. So we have created a lot of functions in top of Solidity that models all the types and the methods that all the actors in the Filecoin network have. So for you, it's just going to be a matter of importing this package and using all the methods that you would find, that you can find on the documentation, the Filecoin documentation about the actor. So if you want to interact with some minor actor, with a market, to see deals, to create a deal, I mean, you are going to do it really easy, because everything is Solidity code, so you can see what is happening and understand the types and match that with the Filecoin's documentation. So it was conceived to be easy to understand, to use and deploy. And what I mean with this, easy to understand because it's Solidity, and there is a really close relationship between the data types and the methods and the method names between the library and the Filecoin actors. So if you check the documentation for the Filecoin actors, you will be able to understand what those methods and types are and do. It's easy to use because as we're going to speak in a minute, there is a npm package, so you can import it on your smart and your IDE on your developer tool like Hard Hat, Foundry, Remix, and just importing it. It's you will get all the contracts and you will be able to consume them. And it's easy to deploy because they are libraries, they are not contracts, so they are completely embeddable. So it's going to be part of your smart contract when you compile them. So there's no need to deploy them and fetch, and interact with them through an address in the blockchain. So that's the main 3 points that we try to focus on when we were trying to develop the libraries. As I mentioned before, we have an npm package. It's called Filecoin Solidity. As you can see there in the image, it's at Zondax/Filecoin Solidity. It has the entire set of libraries, and you will see that there is some test libraries, the libraries itself, the types, and there is some mocks libraries that don't do anything specific with the Filecoin network, with the real Filecoin network, but they have some mock scenarios depending on what you pass to them. But you will find everything there in the package. We handle the version. I mean, it's easier to handle the version in updates because we are using December standards. So breaking change, new features and patches, it's going to be easy to see what is happening when we release a new version. And it's perfect for developers because, as you might know, it's easy to use them. From, as I mentioned before, from Hard and Foundry, Remix, just a matter of naming them on your smart contract code, and I mean, Hard Foundry Remix will fetch the package itself for you. And that's what I have to tell you about the Solidity library. We will try to make it go through the library at the end of the presentation. But I will pass the microphone for Ioan. Ioan is going to tell you about the Beryx API. Thank you.
Hey everyone, thank you, Emmanuel. I'm Ioan. And I'm going to talk about Beryx. So Beryx, I'll explain 2 parts. One is the API, the other one is the Explorer. What is the API? So Beryx API indexes behind and exposes it through the API, the Filecoin data, historical and real time. Next slide, please, Emmanuel. What can Beryx API do? It provides information like transactions, account information, fees, addresses, and step sets. Next slide, please. Where you can find it? You can find it at docs.zondax.ch/Beryx, or just go to docs and you'll find it there. We will go through all of these by the end. There are 2 steps. You have to get a free token, and of course you must have a GitHub account first, and then you can test it right here. On top of that, for developers, we have an npm package that has the same benefits as the API, and it's in TypeScript, perfect for developers. Next slide, please. Okay, the Explorer. The Explorer is a platform for developers, like a blockchain Explorer, that includes historical data, real-time data, streaming, and metrics for the Filecoin blockchain. Next slide, please. What can you do besides searching, like a normal Explorer does, searching transactions, addresses, tip sets? You can interact with the contracts. You can call read and write methods and see their decoded API, upload your own, see the bytecode, the OB code. Of course, for the read and write, the write methods especially, you will need funds for that. And don't worry, we have a faucet, so you don't have to go outside, come back in again, and you can connect with MetaMask. We also have a mempool view to check if your transaction got stuck or it went through. And the network metrics are going to be inside the dashboard, and they are going to come soon, ASAP. Of course, you can find it at beryx.zondax.ch. Next slide, please. And it has a nice feature because during these weeks, we will progressively add more features. We would really appreciate if you can give us feedback. We can use the small tool on the right side. It takes a screenshot. You can draw on it and write a message, and can even ask for new features. If you need them urgently for your project, we will be happy to help. Thank you. Here is a summary of all the useful links. You can take a screenshot, take a picture, and I'm sure you will find this presentation after.
Yes, I mean we can share the links in the presentation. We can share the presentation and make it available for you, so you have the links and you can check them.
Okay. The contact us. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can contact us at hello@zondax.ch. Okay. Emma, should I go first? The Beryx?
Yes. We have a question there. Is why is Volley not supported on Beryx? By default, we have moved to hyperspace, because hyperspace is the long-term testnet that was deployed like a week ago. That's why. But what we are planning to add the Wallaby again in the Beryx Explorer, because we had it like in 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's going to be there really soon. So I will start sharing. Share channel, Jan.
Okay. Everything's all right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Jan.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll go first with the API. See how you can get the key. So you have to go to docs.zondax.ch. Scroll until you see Beryx API, or just type docs.zondax.ch/Beryx. And here you can get the key, see the docs, and see the API package. Let's try to get the key. Okay, here you don't see it because I already have GitHub connected, but you'll have to have a GitHub account and accept it. Okay, perfect. It redirects me back to the documentation when it pops up here with my token. Don't forget to copy it. And in here you can test it. You can test all the endpoints. But make sure that in case it doesn't, like it gives you a 401 error, make sure to replace this one in here with the new one and press update. Okay, let's make a try. So let's choose the latest tip set. This is the easiest one. 401, the same error. So in case this happens, you can go in here, delete it, take the one on top, paste it, and update. Hopefully this time works. Perfect. Okay, so here you can see the latest tip set information. The same with all the others, like account balance, info, transactions, get all the transactions using from a tip set or from an address. Good. Let's move to the Explorer. Here's the Explorer at beryx.zondax.ch, and you can see on the left side all the tools we have. We have the home, which is the search part. We have the interact. We'll have the dashboard soon, and the mempool. And the faucet also is coming ASAP. On top, you can select the network, hyperspace mainnet, Wallaby, as Emmanuel said before. We'll explain why we don't have Wallaby active yet. A search, switch the theme, connect with your wallet. To connect with MetaMask, you'll have to use Chrome for the moment. Okay, and then here is the feedback tool. Please use it. Okay, let's make a test. We are here in hyperspace. We have 3 examples in case you don't know what to search. You're new and just want to check it out. Choose one of them. If you go to tipset, you'll see the tipset information. And if you are a developer and want to see a bit more, or more dev style, you can go here on top and enable the dev mode, and you will see the exact response. On the right side, you will be able to see the transactions, but first you have to choose one from the table below, like this one. And from this table, everything you see in blue is clickable, and you can go inside it. For example, let's see this account. This is the account information, these transactions that came in and out. Perfect. Okay, now let's check I have it here open. The interact part, you can use both the ETH type of address kind and of field. Check the contract if it exists, if it's deployed, view its API, bytecode, OP code, and playground. Still some bugs to fix in the playground. In the playground, you can call the write and read methods, and you'll get the response down here. Okay, let's see the mempool. This is the current mempool in the hyperspace. Okay. I just want to mention that the gray ones are outside the mempool, but I just kept them there so you can access it, so it doesn't disappear instantly. Okay, and that's it for my side.
Yeah, thank you. I will share my screen now. I will give you like a walkthrough the repository. Let me share my screen again. Have my fluent controls. Okay. So, do you see my screen, Jan? Okay, perfect. This is a repository in Zondax. It's a Zondax Filecoin Solidity. As you can see here, there is a link to go to the web, to the docs web, and here you will find a short description about it, an introduction about the technologies involved, some assumptions that we did when we created the library, and you will find here a lot of information about it. I mean, for most, you will have all the methods that are mock and the libraries, and you can that you can consume. Again, mocks are like the same method interfaces that we have on the real library, but we are not calling the actual Filecoin. The actual Filecoin actors. We are responding, answering to your request with pre-loaded scenarios depending on what you what you ask, what you send. And for the API, you have like a little description of how you can deploy or how you can use it. As you can see here, it's really short, it's really easy with an NPM package. If you're using Hard Hat, it's just a matter of using yarn add, importing them from the contracts, and do the code. As you can see here, you are more than welcome to that. We're going to invite you to check the website. And I mean the project is it's all the contracts are here in the contracts V08. They are organized in a way that we have different versions for different Solidity compilers. For now, we are using 0.8. It's one of the latest one. And as you can see here, you have all a lot of the Solidity libraries. There are these ones that say API, one for each actor that we have exposed on the library. And maybe I mean, if you go to the account API, as you can see here, is a library. And you have two different, in this case, two different methods. This authenticate message and universal receiver hook, and they have different parameters. These parameters are exactly the same representation, or pretty close to the same representation that acts in the Filecoin blockchain hub. You can go to the types file that you will find there a lot of structs with the description or with each field that this type has. As you can see here, we are calling they're really straightforward functions. They're really simple because we are already serializing the data, sending the data to the actor, getting response, parsing it, and give it back to the in Solidity code. Here you can find the mocks. Those are again, as I said before, it's the same signature for each method, but we are not calling anything. We are just doing acting based on your arguments, giving you different answer. And here you can find some tests. These are actual deployable contracts, because as you can see here, there are contracts. We're importing, and in this case, the Power API library, and creating functions for each of those methods. So now they are, you can call them from this contract that is going to be deployed on that, or can be deployed on the network. What else? What else it can be useful to be displayed? What else? Here is the npm package. So as you saw before, this is the classic npm JS registry. Okay, and I displayed the documentation, and lastly, I want to show you this is Remix, and I think you're seeing my screen here. And this is a test a smart contract I created like in Remix. As you can see here, the only thing I did was to write that I want to get the market API library from the Zondax Solidity contracts B08 and create a smart and short contract where I am just creating functions that are public and I can call from the out to work and getting the response for, in this case, for the get deal label or with a deal ID and returning the label, in this case in a string, the same for the get deal provider. It's being compiled at this moment with this version of the compiler. And if you deploy it, as you can see here, I have two deployments here. I think we can try to do it. It will take some time because it will give me here. I get some funds before I can confirm it, and now I have to wait for the creation. It will take like a minute because there are not many miners on the network, so it takes more time than what it usually takes in mainnet. But at the end, you will have something like this. You can execute here, as you can see, the get test, get the label, confirm it, and I did it like 1 or 2 minutes ago, and you have, and again, we need to wait here for it. But as you can see here, it's just a matter of importing it or mentioning it at your smart contract, and Remix will fetch the package directly from npm.js. That way, it's really easy to use it. And again, for all the actors and methods that you see on this and on the different actors, they are like an example presentation of the Filecoin functionality, the native functionality. So if you check the Filecoin documentation, you should find the representation of what each actor does and its methods and everything else. For the Solidity library, we are not doing anything special in that sense. So let's say, look at us before if you can from here add some collateral to a new SRT or anything else. We have a lot of methods here. Some of them are commented. We are trying to comment them all, so you have more information on the contract on the library itself. But for now, if you can check the method that you have there and what methods of different actors you need in order to do what you want to do, and see if in that sense it's possible to do it from the Solidity smart contract or not. I know that there are a lot of examples or tools that Filecoin is creating for you as examples using Hard and everything else. So we can point you to those examples and everything in the Discord. And I think that's all for me too. I will leave like a couple 3 or 4 minutes for any questions that I didn't see on the chat. If you have any, please feel free to write them there. And thank you all for your time. It's been a nice experience to be here and explain you about these 3 amazing tools that we've been working on.
If we have support on the global,
no, but that both. Yeah, we are going to be there as helping you answering questions there. So feel free to tag us there. We we are going to be there, and more and some other partners from the company. So feel free to tag us there, and we'll be able to answer you, us or any of the partners.
All right.
So,
I know you have a question. That just
how do you see or expect people to use? I mean, what we expect here, I mean, we want you to use the tools. I mean, the libraries are a must if you want to interact with Filecoin features from Solidity. If you don't, I mean, they're a must because it's going to take a lot of time for you to discover how to call the precompiles that allows you to interact with the underlying Filecoin blockchain. So it's a really helpful tool if you want to do that. I mean, that's the key feature of this EVM, this Ethereum virtual machine running on top of Filecoin. Solidity, taking advantage of all the Filecoin features that Filecoin has. And Explorer, I mean, it's a way for you to interact because you have like kind of a remix section that you can fetch with an address and see the code, the API, and interact with it with your MetaMask, run view and any other method, and even, I mean, change the state of your smart contract. And at the same time, you can see the mempool, and you can see your entire what is happening in the network, mainnet or in what is in hyperspace, all at the same place. So it's kind of like one of a kind tool because you have everything there. The only thing that you don't have there is like an API to write your smart contracts. But I mean, maybe in the future. And the idea is for you to give us feedback because, and we know that maybe bugs can happen. I mean, will happen, and maybe features that you want to have there in the very Explorer too. I mean, and the API is for any developer that wants to integrate your in an application, not for humans that do something. You can use Postman, but just for testing. And I hope I answered the question. I don't think you have that if you have time to answer the last one. Maybe we can continue on Discord. I'm not sure. I mean, when you type.
feel free to answer that last one.
Okay. I mean, binary type has all the types, the structures that defines different methods for the miner actor. For the miner actor, I mean, the miner actor is the one that is created when a new miner is deployed on the network. And if you want to know the characteristics, the features, the values that miner has in the network, you can use it to fetch information about it. You need to pass the address of that specific miner that you want to interact with, and you will be able to see here. I mean, I'm looking at some functions here. Get owner. I think it will give you the owner of this of that miner. You can see. You can get the sector size, the balance that it has, some funds, the beneficiary. I mean, again, this is pretty much related with the Filecoin network and the documentation. So you won't find like a really big documentation about what is an actor inside the Solidity library because that's part of the Filecoin network. But if you go to the Filecoin documentation and check there, it will allow you to have a better representation of what is a miner on the network, and then you will be able to come back to the Solidity library and understand it better. We're working on adding more documentation on the Solidity itself, but we don't want to be redundant between the Solidity library and the Filecoin documentation itself. But yeah. Okay, I think we are ready. We're ready now.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Emmanuel and Ioan, for taking the time to do this workshop for the Space Warp Hackathon. Sincerely appreciate it. For the rest of you, thank you so much for tuning in. And as mentioned in the chat, if you do want to look back on this workshop, it is recorded and on YouTube, so you can access it at any time during the event or afterwards as a resource. And with that being said, see you all on Discord, and also see you at the kickoff and summit happening soon. Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.